It's a verdict that shocked people across the United States. Casey Anthony found guilty of false informing, but not guilty of murder, manslaughter, or abuse in the death of her daughter, Kaylee. Immediately after the verdict was announced on our Facebook page, you spoke out with your opinions on the case. Some said the prosecution did not do its job, saying there was not enough evidence and all it takes is reasonable doubt. Others said it was the jury that failed, saying Casey's lying proved she was guilty, and asking where is the justice for Kaylee. Well, after hearing your comments and concerns, News 10 decided to go to the experts to see what they had to say about the Casey Anthony trial. News 10's Dan Klein spoke with some Wabash Valley officials who have a lot of experience in similar high-profile cases. He joins me now live from the newsroom. Dan, what can you tell us?
Well, Patrice, none of them said they had the time to cover much of the trial coverage in the Casey Anthony trial, but you may be surprised to find out that they all said a popular television show may have played a role in the outcome.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
As Casey Anthony's team celebrated the jury's decision, many outside were in shock. For a few in the Wabash Valley who have dealt with similar trials, it was a surprise as well.
My overall impression, though, was that the defense arguments were very lame.
Nothing really surprised you totally. I was surprised that she didn't get found guilty of at least neglect.
But others, like Judge Philip Adler, think the charges were a mistake and going for the death penalty a stretch. 20 years ago, Adler was the Vigo County prosecutor who successfully led the Bill Benefield death penalty case.
If you're going to file a death penalty case, you better be darn sure that you have a very strong case. A confession, DNA matches, none of those features were present in this case in Florida.
Shows like the highly successful CSI franchise on CBS can give viewers the impression that every criminal case should be airtight and neatly wrapped up in an hour. But the Anthony trial depended on circumstantial evidence like Casey's documented partying or not coming forward immediately to authorities when her child supposedly went missing.
Juries are looking for this silver bullet evidence that usually isn't present.
Virtually every homicide case I work on is circumstantial.
So the big question, without a show like CSI, would the jury have come to a different verdict 20 years ago? On this hypothetical, this jury is mixed.
That is probably the most logical explanation.
I don't think necessarily that even 20 years ago the verdict would have been much different.
I think it definitely could. People don't understand. It's not easy to get someone found guilty.
Now, it's not just the CSI type shows that can make things more difficult on both sides. Each of the experts we talked to mentioned the difficulty of getting a good jury for a highly publicized trial. Now, on average, more knowledgeable and intelligent people are going to be following up with current events, watching the news, going to be following cases like the Anthony trial and the Anthony case, and that means they can't be jurors, and that can make things more difficult for the prosecution. Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Dan.